So I think it's very important to build leadership at all levels. So there's a fantastic book by a guy by the name of David Marquet, spelled David Marquette. But yeah, it's a book called Turning the Ship Around. And in this book, he talks about taking one of the US Navy's worst performing subs, the Santa Fe, to the #1 performing sub. And he did that by changing the culture to have leaders at every level. So everyone was accountable, everyone was very clear on what the goals and objectives were for the submarine and the mission at the time. And that came from him from a demand where basically he planned to take over a certain sub, and you've got to learn very specific manuals and all these sort of things. It's a year's worth of training. 2 weeks before he went onto this new sub, they said, you've got to now go to a different one. And so he had to then plan at that point, well, I can't spend a year's worth of training in 2 weeks. So his approach was, create leaders at all levels, and that's where you hand control and command down to the team. And by doing that as an organisation, you then have leaders at every level. So they naturally, as they rise up through the organisation, they're already leaders.
What is your strategy to develop training design for making leadership spirit implemented in the organization?
So what we focus on is more experiential style training. So you can't learn how to be a leader by reading a book or by reading a set of slides or something like that. Books are fantastic, but they're not going to get you all the way there. We do a lot of experiential based leadership where we train sort of improvisation is one thing. That's a very interesting thing where we get people to have conversations in a team as how to support each other and things like that. And also just those core principles on training, and leadership. And one of the topics we covered up on the talk you saw was around how to create high performing teams. We train our leaders those sort of 5 core areas, #1 being creating psychological safety to really drive that high performing team.
And when ideally to implement leadership spirit for employees in our organization, is it when they are new enter, or in the middle, or maybe after 10 years work?
I think it's straight from the get-go. As soon as someone starts at an organisation, regardless of what level they come in, you do that exercise where they go around the organisation, learn the culture, learn the importance, but also create that customer focus for everybody. So get them on the phones with people in the call centre, something called double jacking. Basically, when the customer service person helps out a customer over the phone, the person just listens in on that to understand what are the customer's problems, what are their challenges. So definitely at all levels from the day dot, you've got to get people learning how to become leaders.
Thank you. So after attending today's event, what is your comments and ideas about Asia Pacific HR Forum?
Look, I think the conference itself was absolutely fantastic. I personally learnt so much being here over the past couple of days. It's just been awesome. Some really brilliant speakers and some really brilliant companies doing some absolutely cutting edge stuff. I think it's really good.
So you highly recommend?
Highly recommend it. And personally, I think there's a lot of techniques, and I've built empathy now. I think a lot of organisations, the HR areas, and probably the organisation as a whole, to be honest, are not quite up with the times. I think that's just the reality. I think coming to these sort of conferences, you will learn the tools and techniques to really change how your organisation operates and change the culture.
Now, the last question. Maybe you have some quote of business philosophy in your life, so you'll be more. Is this my?
Okay, I've got a whole heap. Let me think for a moment. I guess you're going to be editing this, so I can just sort of run with it. So the #1 expression I have is everyone in the organisation focusing on the customer. So from the CEO to the mailman, everyone needs to understand how they impact the end customer's experience and how do they support the organisation to deliver on that experience. If we all understand that, it'll change the game.
Good. Cool. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Nice.
Cheers. Thank you so much for that. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers.